Hello and welcome to Fire Emblem The Last Promise 0% Growth's Low Turn Count Playthrough, version 2. This video will be tackling both the Prologues and Chapter 1 of this game. In the Prologues, we're introduced to two units, although only one of them is able to see combat. As mentioned in the introductory video, Sean must solo the Prologue to unlock the second Prologue. By visiting this house with Siegfried, we get a Vulnerarian Iron Sword and some money. Sean is one of the most important units in the early game. In the first 10 chapters, he will be doing a lot of work because he must reach level 10 as soon as possible. And as mentioned, he must kill the boss of Chapter 10. He joins with a personal weapon called the Piercing Sword, which is the standard Fire Emblem mode rapier, but as you can see, he's on a cav. He is a cavalier. It grants double weapon experience like most personal weapons do in GBA games. It has really good might, and unlike a lot of other effective weapons, it's 3 times effective. This playthrough was made with that knowledge in mind, unlike the previous one, where I never utilized the 3x effectiveness of some weapons, which is embarrassing. Theoretically, if Sean was to land 1 of 2 crits on both of those fighters, we'd be able to clear the chapter on this turn, turn 3, but for the sake of reliability, I didn't. I felt that it'd be better to have some reasonable standards for reliability on enemy phase going in. Sean uses the Iron Sword just to conserve uses the Piercing Sword, because we burned through a lot of those uses early on, both in this chapter and in the next couple of chapters, just because it's a generically very strong weapon for him. With this crit rig, that is Prologue 1 cleared in 4 turns, already saving a turn over the previous playthrough. You can see Sean's base stats flashing up on screen right now. His 5 strength is kind of annoying, but his 7 speed means he's able to double a couple of slower enemies and avoid getting doubled by most enemies in Siegfried mode, and the chapters where he's force deployed in Anakin mode. Prologue 2 is going to be very simple, so I'm going to start talking about the unit we get after this chapter. This is Corbin. Corbin is basically Sean with 5 more points of HP, 1 more point of defense, 1 more point of strength and skill, but 1 less point of speed. That 1 less point of speed means he doesn't double some enemies that Sean does, but he's able to get kills that Sean wouldn't be able to by having 1 more point of strength. He also only has E-rank swords and D-rank lances, as opposed to Sean's D swords and E-rank lances. Sean will never have to use a lance that is higher than E-rank. With both of those done, let's move on to Chapter 1. Chapter 1, once I find the movie file for it, also saves turns compared to the previous playthrough. This chapter is a Seas map. You can also route the chapter, but that's really hard to do in 0% growths without rigging a bunch of crits. I guess we can also talk about Siegfried, because he's going to be pretty crucial to this. He's a 7-move mounted unit, unlike most other promoted mounted units. He joins with S-rank swords, B-rank lances, and pretty good offenses. They're underwhelming later on in even Siegfried mode, but they hold up really well early on. He has 9 strength and 10 speed, which is really nice, and his innate S-rank swords means that he has a base 9 crit, or 10 crit. Corbin brings with him a javelin, which is very helpful. We end up using it in the next chapter, although due to a screw-up at the end of this chapter, it ends up on Sean instead of on Corbin like it should have been. But it ends up working out. Theoretically, if I were to have found an RN seed where Siegfried crit literally every single enemy that attacked him and Sean, Sean would be able to kill the boss and Siegfried could seize on this second turn, but I didn't want to find that RN seed. I will concede that that is a turn loss, but it is something I did not want to have to deal with because it is enemy phase focused. It also gives Sean slightly less experience, and he needs to hit level 10, as I said, as soon as possible, and he ends up hitting it hilariously early. I make a mistake with Corbin on the next player phase where he kills the bandit below him as opposed to the one to the right of him. All that really means is that Sean has to use the javelin instead of the iron sword that he'd be able to use to kill the brigand that's below Corbin. But it still works, the damage still works out just right. It just means that the javelin is 1 lower use than it should be, which is completely manageable. And the accuracy is significantly worse. With that, that is Chapter 1 cleared in 3 turns. Thank you for watching. This is already 3 turns saved compared to the previous run. And I will see you in the next video for Chapter 2.